Hey! So I felt to share something today that touches a bit of a raw nerve for me. I was like, really, Jesus? You want me to share this? But I felt that he did, so I hope it helps someone in some way. I'm sharing about being single, and in particular during lockdown and some of the stuff that triggered for me. We've had one lockdown, we're now sort of in another one, and so there's been plenty of time to trigger in that area. A bit of background, I am single, obviously. I've never been anything other than having a single status. I have no kids. I would like to be married someday, but it hasn't happened. And I know a lot of people in the same situation. I could probably list at least 10 people just off the top of my head that I know who are friends who are in the same situation. And for the majority of us, it's not our preference to be single long term, but for whatever reason, it is what it is. Lots of different reasons. And I feel like I'm kind of living a paradox in that the longer time goes on as a single person, the more I appreciate the things that are the pros, the benefits, the advantages of being single. But at the same time, the desire to not be single and to actually have a partner in life gets stronger as well. So it's like I'm more adept at being single, living that lifestyle, but the desire to be married gets stronger at the same time. I do love lots of things about being single, I have to say that, and I know there are a lot of people who, well, actually I don't know if there's a lot, some people who love being single and would be quite happy to be single like indefinitely, but that's not quite where I'm at. So this is probably more directed at people who are in a similar headspace to me. I'm definitely not going to give you some empty platitudes about why I'm single, why you're single. I don't know. I've spent so much time trying to kind of work it out in my own head that, I just don't really give a reason anymore. And I'm not going to be a preacher who got married at the age of 25 and has been married for 15 years and then tries to preach to single people about how to live their best life. I've been single for quite a while, so I do feel like I can speak to this, at least to my experience of it. So over lockdown, there was a lot of talk about family. People, advertisements, the media played on this even. Churches were using that buzzword of family and how it's a great time for us to reconnect with family, establish quality time with family, which is awesome. Of course, that's a great idea. And that there was a lot of talk even from government updates on, stay in your family bubble during lockdown. So I triggered, I must admit, being vulnerable here, I did trigger quite a lot on that whole, when I heard that word family so many times and how that was so central to lockdown. And I know some people had a mixed experience with being around family in their bubble where it was difficult for them, but this is particularly, this is for the single people. It was difficult for them too, in different ways, for many of us. I can't speak for everyone, but there was that song, The Blessing, that was getting played a lot, and I played it because I love it too. But the whole theme of that is, may his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations and your family and your children and their children and their children. Beautiful song, but it did cause me to face the big fat fact, which I can usually kind of push to the background because I try to be quite proactive with my friendships and have people over a lot normally and go out and do fun stuff. In lockdown I couldn't do that stuff, so it kind of just really hit home for me that, who are my family? That question just really came to the forefront. I know I have a family of origin. I have my dad, who I love so much, and my brothers, who I love heaps. They're amazing. I have extended family. My mum, I have family in heaven. My mum is in heaven. But I don't have my own family. I don't have that sense of like really close family. My family of origin are not the type that are in contact all the time. Maybe every few weeks we're in contact with each other. So I started to think, oh, who would miss me if I did go away for a week? Like, is there anyone who I'm not in that close contact with anyone really who I would consider to be that level of family, including church. I know what I'm supposed to say as a good little Christian. Oh, the church is my family, but I can't quite say that yet, if I'm completely honest, because I don't feel that the church is my family. I feel like that I'm close to being that. Like, I'm close to being able to say that, but not quite. Like, it's more, a lot of relationships are, you're on the same team with someone, you're working towards a common goal, you're serving together at a Sunday service. I do have church people that I hang out with a lot as well, but again, that still doesn't quite, I don't know if I would call them family as such just yet. So where does that leave me? I know I'm supposed to have church as my family, but yeah, I don't want to over spiritualize or say glib Christianese words just for the sake of it. I guess the main thing that I wanted to say is that you're not alone. If you feel the same, God gets it, and there are other people out there who do feel that hard-hitting question, like, where are my family right now? Where are they for me? Who is my family? And who can I count on? Who can I give myself to in that way as well? Not just about what I can get, but how do I get to that level of closeness with people where I would feel in my heart that we're at family level? And over the years, I feel like there are two things that have tried to come against me in this area of being single, and during lockdown. And I think these things can insidiously try and creep in, even if you're a relatively confident person. They can still try and creep in there, either through things people say to you, like inferring that you're not trying hard enough to meet someone, or be in a romantic relationship, or that God is still wanting to work on you. Well, yeah. God is wanting to make sure you're complete before you're with someone. Well, you've had over 15 years, God. I don't know if that one flies anymore, but maybe, I don't know. But there can be comments like, oh, you just need to socialize more, or do you really want to be married? Like, do you really want it badly enough? Implying that there's something you need to change all the time about yourself in order to be in that position to be in a relationship with someone, heading towards marriage or getting married. So those types of comments, or it can just be the subtle things within popular culture or church culture, can get under my skin in those areas that I mentioned or was heading towards mentioning: low self-esteem and shame. I feel like those are the two things that try to kind of creep in there subtly and make us feel like, what have I been doing wrong? Did I waste my 20s? Like, should I have been dating more or dating at all? In my case, do I really want it enough? Am I really complete enough? Or is there some big flaws in me that are just so overwhelming that God needs another 10 years to deal with it? We start questioning those things, I think, sometimes. Or I should be more content. I should just be happy with Jesus as my boyfriend. God understands. And I think that's the antidote to a lot of this low self-esteem and the shame that tries to come in, is that he totally gets you. He understands your desire to have family, close family. When Jesus was resurrected, he didn't get resurrected as a ghost floating around bodiless. He got resurrected as a person, a whole person with a body. He is the one in whom the whole family in heaven and earth is named, it says in Ephesians. He's big on family, but his understanding of family is outside the box of biological family. So he gets, and he's designed us in a way that we do need a physical family. Like, we need to be able to look people in the eye. We need touch. We need hugs. And I'm not talking about sex. I'm just talking about that closeness of a physical family who was there for you. Otherwise, he would have just resurrected all of us to be ghosts instead of people with bodies who are a physical family. So he understands, that platitude of, oh, well, Jesus is with you, as a kind of, as a, as a comfort to being alone, living alone, or being single. If you still feel that kind of deep need there, even after you think to yourself, oh, Jesus should be enough, God gets that. Like, he understands totally. So let's not cave into that stuff of either feeling shame or low self-esteem in any way. I remember reading the story of Daniel earlier in the year, and this is just something I wanted to share as well quickly, that Daniel had his right to a family taken from him. He was taken from his homeland, kidnapped into a foreign land, made a eunuch, which means the right to have children was taken away from him. And I know that's not a perfect analogy for being single, but he was single. And so for that reason, I feel to bring this today. And also, there was just a phrase that stood out to me in his story. Like, in chapter 9, Daniel's praying, confessing his sin, and an angel comes to him and says to him in verse 23, as soon as you began to pray, a word went out which I have come to tell you, for you are highly esteemed. Therefore consider the word and understand the vision. You are highly esteemed. Please just let that sink in today, if nothing else. That's a message direct from the throne room of God. You are highly esteemed by him. He respects you, admires you. You are highly regarded. And in chapter 10, Daniel has some more supernatural experiences, goes into visions, and there's a man there in the vision who touches him. It says, a hand touched me and set me trembling on my hands and knees. He said, Daniel, you who are highly esteemed, consider carefully the words I am about to speak to you, and stand up, for I have now been sent to you. Later on in verse 18 to 19, it says, again, the one who looked like a man touched me and gave me strength. Do not be afraid, you who are highly esteemed, he said. Peace, be strong now, be strong. When he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, speak, my Lord, since you have given me strength. So I just wanted to speak that directly into your spirit. Go back and read it, chapters 9 and 10 of Daniel. You are highly esteemed by God. You are highly esteemed. You are highly esteemed. And what I love is Jesus doesn't give a reason for highly esteeming Daniel. He doesn't say, you're highly esteemed because you fasted and prayed, Daniel, or you're highly esteemed because you have a heart to reach even the most hardened, evil king, or you're highly esteemed because you're so prophetic, Daniel. No, it's just a full stop at the end of that sentence each time. You are highly esteemed, or you who are highly esteemed. Simply because you are, simply because you exist, simply because God created you, because you're his son, you're his daughter. You are cherished, you are loved. God is not saying to you, you are highly esteemed because you're a youth leader. You are highly esteemed because you use all your free time as a single person to give voluntary work to the church. You are highly esteemed because you reach out to all the kids in the neighborhood. No, just you are highly esteemed, not tied to anything else to do with what you do as a single person, because sometimes we feel like, I think the consolation prize for not being married is that we do missions and stuff, voluntary work for church and pour ourselves into ministry. You are highly esteemed regardless of any of that. And also you get to experience a family the way Jesus did. Jesus was single. Newsflash, Jesus was single. So he experienced family outside of having a biological family. He had knowledge of what family was that existed outside of having biological children. And anyone who says that having biological children is the most noble thing you can do or the highest calling you can have, they're just wrong, plain wrong, because that would be like saying Jesus didn't have a high calling because he never had biological children. He had the highest calling. He had the deepest understanding of family of all anyone who ever existed on the planet. So it's my question that I'm asking God, teach me, please can you teach me about what family looks like to you, Jesus? What does it look like to you? Yeah, so I just wanted to leave you with that. We have a beautiful opportunity before us. And Jesus loves you so much. His concept of family transcends being married, having children. Even I don't want to downplay that. That's an amazing part of life. Hope whoever wants that gets it. I'm not saying we should stay single forever, but let's just journey with Jesus in what does family mean, and to him, not the world's definition of it, and receive his high esteem. Receive his high esteem. I hope that helps you in some way. Feel free to check out my page, Spiritual Growth and Giftings. Love you guys. Bye.